What I'm about to share with you, I want you to use ethically, morally, and for the good of other people. Can we agree on that? All right, cool. Enjoy the video. Content is the most powerful brainwashing tool on earth, and here is why. So I wrote an email about this the other day, and I was basically discussing how the marketplace is noisy. And what I mean by the marketplace is the world is noisy. You're on social media, you're scrolling, and everyone's fighting for your attention. And it's really, really difficult to break through the noise if you don't have a compelling message, right? And this is particularly problematic if you're trying to sell anything, because the way to sell somebody is you need to get their attention, then you need to interest them, then you need to create desire, and then you need action. Most people fail at the attention stage. Even more people fail at the interest stage. I don't know if there's many people in the world who actually know how to engineer desire. And then, of course, you have action, which is asking for a sale, asking for some kind of forward movement, right, towards you. If you are good at content, then you have a brainwashing tool where you can quite literally grab people's attention, get their interest, build desire, and action all in one. So I'm going to be pretty transparent in this video today. I use a few techniques myself to grab attention, to get your interest, to create desire, and ultimately get action from you. So hopefully I've got your attention now, and you understand that if you don't know how to break through the noise, you are not going to be able to sell anything because the market's so noisy, you're just going to blend in with everyone else. Now I'm going to move into creating some interest for you. So in World War II, World War II propaganda was probably the best propaganda I've ever seen. So I've been doing a bit of research into how the Nazi Party did it. I've been looking at how the US did it. I've been looking at how the UK did it. And I've just been looking at some of the posters. And one of the best posters I saw, one of the best bits of content I saw from the two was, it was a bit of US propaganda, and it had a picture of Mussolini, Hitler, and the Emperor of Japan all on one poster. Obviously it wasn't pictures because they didn't have pictures back then, they had artwork, and you could tell who it was, and it said, "Look at all three. Which one do you want to kick the most? Kick all three," with underneath production. And so the big push for the American war basically effort was, we're going to outproduce these guys, we're going to make more weapons than them, we're going to make more ammunition, we're going to make more tanks, we're just going to outproduce them, and that's how we're going to win the war, is we're going to actually outproduce them with what we're doing at home. And this was, to me, I just looked at this poster and I thought, this is just an awesome bit of brainwashing, because not only does it get your attention, it says, look at all three, and it's got a picture of three people, the enemy. Which one of them do you want to kick the most? It's making you think, okay, which one do I actually want to kick the most? Well, you can kick them all with production. So it's saying you're gonna win the war if you produce. And imagine a nation at war. It's a tense time, you want to do your part, you want to win. If you feel like you can actually go out and win the war for your country by producing, which is the idea, then that is a very effective piece of content, because you've now brainwashed an entire population to go out and produce more, right? And I see this all the time. This is what a lot of gurus do. This is what a lot of influencers do, is they basically push this idea, like, you need to work 16-hour days. You need to work 3-hour days. You need to just do webinars. You need to just do personal brand. And what they do is they boil the message down into something very simple that you can understand. Say, just go do this and you will win. And that is, believe it or not, good content, which comes from good messaging. So now, I'm going to talk about desire. So when your content, or I'm going to rather build desire with just the truth, to be honest with you. So when I started getting good at content, I invested in a mentorship about content about 3 years ago. And as soon as I invested in that mentorship and I started actually getting better at content, I'd done it for years. I had managed social media accounts, I'd grown social media accounts. I just I'd built businesses, but I'd never really mastered it. And it was only when I bought into a cohort, a coaching program, where I started learning more about content and how you can, specifically writing, because everything sort of starts from a written format. And what happened is I started to get really quite powerful with my messaging. And I think my audience was like struggling to grow on Twitter. As soon as I did that, my audience grew from like 300 people, I was struggling, to like 2,000 within a few months. And some of the people are going to be listening to that and say, well, that's nothing. But listen to this. I wasn't just posting content for going viral and followers. I was actually posting content for buyers. And what happened is I was able to build a community, and I monetized that community within a month later. So it took about 2 months to get my investment back, and I made $8,000 from just getting better at content. And this is the reality, is like, if you're selling a product, quite often you can do a lot of the selling and a lot of the brainwashing in the content itself. And what I learned as well is like, that was just from writing alone, copywriting, etc. I also started learning more about like visual aids. Right now I'm in a villa. Okay, so before you started even listening to this, you probably were like, well, he's in a villa, he's in a nice setting, he's wearing a shirt. A lot of my videos in the past, I've been wearing like a vest or something. So I'm going a bit more like, classy today. So immediately you have an impression of me, and that impression is going to be quite positive. Like, how did he get here? Well, I've just told you that getting better at content enabled me to make money. And then I turned that, like those new skills and that community, into a full-time business where I was basically creating content for a living and making offers to my audience and scaling that way. Within 7 months after that, I hit my first 5-figure month and figured out how to systematize it all. And the end of that year, I was hitting consistent 10K months from Colombia. So basically, a lot of my money goes on traveling. I like to travel, I like to move location, I like to explore. That's how I like to live my life. That's how I flex. That's my flex, is I've got complete location freedom. I've just spent the last 3 weeks in Valencia, and I just spent a week in Marbella, and I've now got a weekend here for a friend's bachelor party. And then I'm off to the UK. Then I'm going to go back to Bali. So what I'm doing is I'm just telling you, like, that this is what I do, right? This is how I live. This is what I've been able to achieve with my life, with my business through content, which, granted, hasn't always been the biggest priority of mine. But lately I've just started realizing again, like, it really is the most powerful brainwashing tool on earth. I've learned quite a few things about it. And that's why I'm saying, like, hey, look, like right now, what I'm telling you is the truth, but it's to build some desire. So we're now in the desire phase. Like, I'm now persuading you, quite literally, like, live, and telling you that I'm doing it, by framing the facts in an interesting way and a way that ties to my narrative. So again, this is another reason why content is such a powerful brainwashing tool, is because you can build desire in people. You can make them think, I want that. I want to travel like Dan. I want to maybe you want the Bugatti that someone's showing off in their video, or maybe you want the wife and kids in the big house. Whatever it is, that's building desire in you, and people use that strategically in their content to brainwash you. And it's not always bad, at the end of the day. Like, if you need to win the war, like the World War II example, you need to be producing a lot more. You need to outproduce the enemy. So it was great propaganda, and it was also great content, and it got the desired result. So yeah, it's not always a bad thing to brainwash people. And if you get good at it, you can do a lot. Like, you don't have to get on the mats and do jiu-jitsu with people in sales calls. And, actually making sales doesn't require a hard selling approach. You can do a lot of it through the content, which I know how to do, and there's others that know how to do it. It's just a beautiful thing when you get good at it, and you really are fighting a war for attention and for people's interest and for people's hearts and minds, and ultimately, without being crude, in the end, their wallets. If you're in the game of social media and selling your offers and selling a service and selling a product, like I do and my clients do. And it's not just me that's been able to do this. I helped Matt launch his first info product. He was selling a DJ program, personal brand, used content. He only had 2,000 followers. He made 20K in 5 days. I then helped Connor do this. So Connor is one of my biggest case studies. You might have seen his testimonial on this channel. We got together. He came to me, needed some help monetizing his audience. He had a lot bigger audience than Matt at the time, but we managed to turn his audience into 10K a month within a few months, and then we scaled to 13K MRR. That was a big milestone for us. And then with the same offer that we built and the sort of and the system that we built to monetize his attention, he took that to 47K a month. And there's a video on this channel where I have a conversation about that. And so I'm not just some special guy. Like, I'm not just a fluke that got good at content. You know, I don't have the biggest audience in the world, but I've still been able to turn it into my full-time income. And so what I just spoke about there was just a few examples of the benefits and yeah, like what can really happen if you get good at content. And that was desire. So now moving on to the action, like I want you to do something now. I want you to do something with me. Now, in the past, I would say like, hey, look, you know, I got this offer going on, it's paid, like maybe just get into my email list and check it out. But I've actually got something really, really exciting. So if you want to learn how to build desire, how to ethically brainwash people so that you can sell more of your products, so that you can boost your sales, so that you can create a community of people that are devoted to you and want to buy all your stuff and that support you, and you want to do that all through the power of content, then I've got something really, really cool for you. So I'm actually launching it next week, but it's called Arthur, and I'm actually bringing it back. So Arthur is our free community for coaches, for creators, for entrepreneurs and consultants who want to get paid for sharing their ideas online, that want to launch their own offers, and that ultimately want to grow their online business and achieve digital freedom, that want to come to Marbella whenever they want, that want to move to Bali if they want, that want to go on a trip to Colombia if they want, that want to maybe just create more freedom for themselves so they can provide more for their family, or they're just tired of being in the 9-to-5 and the system and they want out, which is really how I got out, which was through content, because I was stuck myself, and content is what set me free. If you want to learn how we do all that, then there's a link down below to join my email list. Now, we're launching Arthur officially on the 6th of July. So depending on when you've watched this, it's already launched or it's coming up. If you join my email list down below, you will be invited via that email list, because I only invite people via email and through personal invites, to join that community. The first 120 people is absolutely free. You don't pay a dime, and you'll get that price. You'll get in for free for life. Now, full transparency, I offer it free because I want you to come and experience this stuff, to see that I'm not just chatting shit on these videos, that I'm not just trying to brainwash you and talk shit. You can come in there and experience it for yourself. We're building the realist community on X. I mean, in the creator economy, on the internet, and hopefully you've seen by me being pretty transparent about how I've communicated to you today. Hopefully you can see, you know, there is a path for you to create more freedom for yourself with content, with your digital business, and by getting your personal brand up and running and learning how to sell without feeling salesy. So if you want to be a part of that, we're bringing it back by popular demand. We've already got a ton of people on the wait list ready to join. And like I said, only 120 people will get in for free. Then it goes into a paid version. And the best way for us to do that is to bring you in and give you value up front so that you want to work closer with me later on. So that's me asking for action. You just join that email list. You'll get a private invitation from me via email to come and join Arthur. Depending on when you're watching this, it might still be free, it might not. Only 120 people will be accepted for free. After that, it's paid. So I would just hurry up and get in there, check out what it is. Apart from that, that's all I really had to say today. I just wanted to share that. I wanted to invite you. I also wanted to walk you through an actual framework of how you can brainwash people with content. But like I said, use it ethically, use it morally, and use it for people's own good. Because a lot of the time, you just need to get people out their own way. So knowing how to do that, the world will reward you for leading them somewhere. And right now, I'm leading you to that email list. So go click that link, go join. I'll chat to you there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.